Hello everyone, this is the LEGO City Air Ambulance set for 2025. This has 403 pieces, it cost me $55 US, it's 50 euros, 45 pounds UK, or $65 Canadian. There are 4 minifigures here and a few small side builds, but I'm first going to focus on the main thing that you're paying for. I know some folks don't like and will never like the specialized nose and cockpit pieces for some of the aircraft that they do, and that's just never going to change. I personally like this one here, and I think that it's very accurate to some specific planes out there. And here's another specialized part, very large one. It's a wing, and it's a new wing. It's like a medium-sized wing, similar to what they had done for large airliners before, just way, way smaller, much, much lighter. Useful with the similar attachment pieces or attachment positions with studs on top, as well as anti-studs, as well as some spots where you can stick some Technic pins through. And you see that the gear are mounted inboard. You have a steerable nose gear as well. And moving back, 2 engines back there, and then the T-shaped tail. Here's another thing I know a lot of people don't like. Vibrant yellow. I personally have always liked vibrant yellow, or the highlighter yellow color, just in general in life. And this is kind of the solid version of the unfortunately discontinued trans neon greenish yellow, but it's not solid enough, is it? Look at that. Where black pieces are, you can see through. And that's just a design choice that they made. I particularly am not a fan of that choice. We used to call this day glow, the effect, we called it day glow. I think that's actually a trademark term at the time, but in order to get a good day glow effect where things are just that bright, you need to have some subsurface scattering. You need to have some light that can actually get into the material and then shine back out at you. It's actually collecting some light and then transmitting it back out to you, which requires some translucency. And as a result, I mean, even in there, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but even in there, you can see, or I can see underneath just the studs and kind of the shadow from the studs, even though those studs are white. So personally, I like the color. I think it works much better in smaller areas, and it's just too bad that it is as translucent as it has to be. But wait, there's more specialized parts here. You know how everybody complains about alternate brick brands and how they cheat by using specialized pieces and how LEGO never does that, except LEGO does that all the time. And here I think they've done a good job with another very useful piece, because that's great. You can have your minifigures, your random minifigures, standing there and they can be walking up there. It doesn't have handrails, but I think this is just such a super, super useful piece that fits into the existing system with the angles there. You got just a little notch here to stick your fingernail into. And so it closes up flush. It's a nice piece, has a little bit of texture on the outside, accommodates minifigures, and it fits within a small space. I just think it's a good part. A good fair bit of this opens up. The cockpit is relatively simple, just holding a single figure right there in the center, but you do have your flight yoke, a suggestion of throttle over here. And is that the gear lever over there, or is it brakes? It's just a perfectly serviceable little space to put a pilot figure. Back behind here, they've got a console up there that uses a sticker. And then you can see a little bottle over to the side. That's probably for IV. It's too bad they don't have an actual IV tower and drip. But then in the center here, you can sit minifigures down in that little depression in the middle, including having one facing back here. Or, of course, you can bring in your stretcher and have that right there. It fits right into the slot. And then this up here is a spot where you can potentially bring figures up here just for the sake of play. They can be looking at things. But, obviously, when that's all closed up, those the consoles are visible from the other side. And, the idea is that, people will be looking in there and using the equipment and stuff. But, it's nice that the stuff is actually accessible here. And I've seen they've done the police mobile command stations that have this pop up and stuff. I think it's perfectly fine for play. But then there's one other thing you do here with the rear being able to open up and not really having any strong use for that, no detail back there. You can put the stretcher back here instead. And now you get the best of both worlds. You can have your patient back here, and you can have multiple figures sitting in here using that console, or potentially just being simple passengers. But there are no studs down there. I wish that there were just a couple studs just to give you some options to make the figures stay in place. But overall, it's really nice to have options. It's nice to be able to access all of this space. I do kind of wish that you had a little bit better access here at the front. Oh, another specialized piece, by the way. You know, because Lego doesn't do specialized pieces. But yeah, you can just pull that off. First couple times that I did that, these studs out here were just kind of holding on a little bit too much and started to pull stuff up, but there it actually worked. Now, if that works more consistently, then that's actually perfectly fine access. Yeah, it's actually has settled because I've had this built for a few days. The first time that I did this, when I first built it, this was kind of sticking. Okay, so that actually works, and that's much easier. And there you can see there are some studs there, so you can have passengers sitting down there comfortably. I just really think that they could have done exactly that back here as well, and it still would have accommodated the stretcher as long as they didn't put the studs in the exact same spots where these gurney wheels would be, you know, just so that they can still go all the way down in there. But all in all, I mean, that's a lot of useful space, and usable space for the size of this plane. But wait, there's one more thing that you can do with this space back here. You can carry this side build. That is nice and useful, and a surprise little bonus. You know, it's actual like cargo carrying space. So even, you know, in addition to having multiple options, you can also do more with it here. Now, it doesn't have like a ramp that can come down to actually have this, you know, drive out. That would have been much nicer if that was a possibility, but it isn't. But at least, again, another use for that interior space. The snow machine is small and effective. I like it. It can hold a driver or a rider right there, as well as one additional figure back here at the back. Now, can you actually fit the gurney onto this? Like, can you have the stretcher carried by this? Well, yes, you can. In fact, see, I mean, so many things in this set can do multiple things, and that's again a surprise, and it's a very good thing. Now, is this the most realistic setup? No, it's not. Is it perfectly good for play? Absolutely, 100%. And that right there is a print. This other side build is just a little bit of terrain with a little maintenance spot is the idea with a windsock. You just imagine that this would be at a landing field. One of these figures comes with skis, but I got to take those off to show you the figures up more closely. So here's the plane's pilot, and this is just a regular person who you're assuming would be having a little bit of fall, and you'd need to be rescuing them. I really appreciate that the pilot uniform is not medevac specific, not air ambulance specific. You know, it has a little bit of color in it with that light aqua, but this can definitely be used as a pilot for any sort of situation. Unfortunately, the visor over here with those goggles isn't quite working out with that traditional style of helmet, is it? I mean, it's just running too low, much too low. You can't see the eyes. It's just, what's going on with that? What is up with that? I don't understand. We do have a way to fix this, though, or we do have something to do with it. So there is an alternate face there. No alternate face here. However, the set does include some extra headgear pieces. So for this character to not have a helmet on, you can put on that here. And then here we have two crew members. This could be ground crew or the person who runs the snow machine, doctor on board over here. And once again, there is an additional headgear piece. So if this guy needs to be on the snowmobile, or if she wants to be on the snowmobile, you have the ability to do like this, right? So just another option there. You do have an alternate face there. It's like, hey, you're all right. Everything's good. No alternate face here, unfortunately, but I do appreciate the extra headgear pieces always. Finally, this is what the sticker sheet looked like. Not a whole lot going on there. Again, the price I paid was $55 US. It's 50 euros, 45 pounds UK, or $65 Canadian for 403 pieces. And City has traditionally had some of the worst price to part ratios and some of the worst values overall because they do use a lot of large specialized pieces and they charge you a lot extra for those. I mean, sorry, what I mean was Lego always uses just 2x4s and 1x1 headlight bricks for all their stuff so that you can build anything from anything. Totally. Yes. There we go. All right. That's the correct message that I'm supposed to repeat. All things considered, first of all, the set is good. I love that so much of this opens up and you have good use of all the space here. I really appreciate the wing being reasonably sized. I look forward to seeing that wing used for many more planes in the future, hopefully including cargo ones as well as ones that have more seats, you know, some actual passenger craft, some regional jetliners. Overall, the value here by Lego standards is not bad at all. Not bad at all. And you know, it's hard to call this it's hard for me to call this a bad set. I think that most of the negative feedback it will receive is from its color scheme, and especially from Americans who aren't familiar with this color scheme, which is super well known and popular around the world for emergency vehicles or emergency services, and similar color schemes to that are super popular. But a lot of folks in my own country are always looking for that red. I want that red and white, you know, and that's just a completely subjective thing, which is completely valid, completely understandable. But I like what I see here personally. The only problem is my perception of value will forever be skewed, or should I say corrected, by all of the high quality alternate brick brands that I review over on my JANG's Other Bricks channel, such as this set over here, which does not come with any minifigures, but cost me $25 at Walmart. And the most expensive I've ever seen all of this was $40. And I believe that was from a third-party retailer that was bumping up the price. Typically, this is like $30, 35, no, 30, 20 to 30. And I've seen it lower than that, but I'm not going to try to be ridiculous by comparing retail prices to sale prices. This is that big of a difference. This is large, and this has a detailed interior and stuff, and this is high quality ABS plastic that is opaque as well. It's not like translucent stuff. It's not like super flimsy stuff. This is good stuff, good quality stuff. Just doesn't have the 4 little super deformed minifigures with it. And this costs like half as much as just this over here. So that's always going to have an effect on me, and I'll never be able to say that this is objectively a good deal for the amount of plastic that you get. It's a good set, but I would like to see the price come down just a little bit more. If this was $45, I would be fine with that. I think it'd be perfectly within the range. $55 is pushing it, so my personal recommendation would be get it on discount, you know, wait for it to go on sale a little bit. If you live in a region where everything goes on sale immediately from Lego, as long as you're buying from an alternate retailer, great. I am super happy for you. You are super lucky, and you don't even know how lucky you are. Most likely. Most regions of the world do not get day one discounts. So folks in most regions of the world, I say, just be patient a little bit, use some VIP points, you know, stack up those credit card rewards and Rakuten or Microsoft Cashback or whatever, save a little bit, and you do end up with a good set over here. You just could get a lot more plastic with other brands, just saying. Thank you for watching. Hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you again soon.